Redeemer's Network Television, Pastor E.A. Adeboye, delivering the word with passion and power.
Exodus 15 verse 11. Who is like unto thee, O Lord, among the gods? Who is like thee, glorious in holiness, fearful in praises, doing wonders? The God we serve is a God of wonders. Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6. Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6 says, his name shall be called Wonderful. Do you know the meaning of wonderful? Wonderful is a combination of two words, wonder and full. His name shall be called Full of Wonders. That is the name of our God. Why is God a wonder? First of all, let us consider his size. How big is our God? Because there are several other gods. There are gods you can put in your pocket when you are traveling. There are gods that you have to pick up in the morning and sit them down so that they can sit down, and then in the evening you lay them down on their side so they can sleep. There are all kinds of gods. But this God that I'm introducing to you tonight, how big is he? 2 Chronicles chapter 6 verse 18. 2 Chronicles chapter 6 verse 18 says, the heaven of heavens cannot contain him. The heaven of heavens cannot contain him. But that's difficult for us to understand because many of us don't know astronomy. We don't know enough about how big the heavens are. And I don't want to take you to mathematics. But let us look at some little things that could make it easy for us to understand. Let's try and imagine how big are his legs. Isaiah chapter 66 verse 1. Isaiah 66 verse 1. God said, heaven is my throne, the earth is my footstool. You know what that means? When he sits down in heaven, his leg touches the earth. That must be some big legs. How big are his hands? Deuteronomy 33 verse 27. Deuteronomy 33 verse 27 calls his arms the everlasting arms. They are arms that they just keep going and going and going. Which is why when God decides to promote you, the promotion is everlastingly. That's why I have good news for somebody here tonight. Your promotion is beginning. And it will never end in Jesus' name. How big well, maybe let's say, how big is his head? And that will be difficult to describe. So let's just take one thing out of his head. How big are his ears? Psalm 65 verse 2. Psalm 65 verse 2 says, O thou that answerest prayers, unto thee shall all flesh come. You know what that means? Right now, millions of people are praying in America. Some are praying in Britain, some are praying in Europe, some are, whether you believe it or not, some are praying in China. And all of us here are praying. Do you know his ears are big enough to take in all our prayers at the same time? That's why it is good news for you. Every prayer you pray here tonight will be answered in Jesus' name. The heaven of heavens cannot contain him. He's so big that we cannot describe him. And yet, he can reduce himself to such a small size that he can dwell inside a man. 1 John chapter 4 verse 4. 1 John chapter 4 verse 4. He says, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Let me ask you a question. Who is in you now? The one that heaven of heavens cannot contain, yet is dwelling in me, is dwelling in you. That is why I am sure that a miracle is going to take place inside somebody tonight in Jesus' name. What about his nature? 1 John chapter 4 verse 8. 1 John chapter 4 verse 8 says, God is love. What kind of love? John chapter 3 verse 16, John 3:16 says, is the kind of love that is willing to give all. The kind of love, according to Romans chapter 5 verse 6 to 8, Romans 5 verse 6 to 8, that is willing to die even for his enemies. The Bible said God revealed his love to us, that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for the ungodly. And yet, this God that is love, all-giving love, is also referred to in Hebrews chapter 12 verse 29.